Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Cities Skylines, and welcome back to Nerdchester. I am just blown away by how many of you wanted to see more Cities Skylines 1. I was a little bit wary of playing this and doing some videos on it because 2 has been out for over 2 years and people generally seem to enjoy it. I know there's still some criticisms and they are perfectly valid, but YouTube being YouTube, you just never know. So thank you so much for all of the support on that video. But what I do know is that I think this looks way better than it did in that first episode. I've changed some of the mods around a little bit. I've thrown some out. I've brought some new ones in. I love how the water looks. I love how the grass looks. I love that the whites aren't completely blown out now. I hope this looks better from a viewer sort of standpoint. We have a sky now, by the way. There's like clouds up there and everything. It's great. Anyway, here's what I'm thinking I want to do today. I want to go and purchase this tile up this way because there is a train line up that way that I want to play with just a little bit. We have this train line coming in right here. We have this little bit of a coastline right here that we could play with as well. We have this old factory that we can play with. I just want to turn this into a little bit of an industrial space. We have a huge amount of industrial demand, and while we could absolutely build it down here, I'm gonna overcomplicate things, and I'm gonna cause a bit of a traffic nightmare in the process, is what I'm gonna do. So I wanna come down into this space here, and I wanna make sure that prop and tree anarchy is off, which it now is. And then what I'm gonna do is go through with some little old one-way roads, and we're gonna say that we're gonna go straight up to about here, and we're gonna go straight up to about there as well. We're gonna want to flip that one around, and then this road in the middle, I want to get rid of it. And the reason I want these roads in the sides is because what I can do is move my bus stops out onto these roads so that hopefully when I get rid of this guy, my buses, I mean, this one's now been stranded, but the rest of them will be okay. Now, when I say I want rid of that road, what I really mean is I want to upgrade it. And my thought process here is we just start sort of in the middle, which is right about there. We're going to elevate this guy up to about 10 meters. And I guess we'll go ahead and make sure that we have a straight slope and that we're constantly elevated. We're going to go to about there. We're going to go to about there. And we're going to come out to about there. And basically, we're going to bridge across this water. We're going to connect out to this space. We're going to build that industrial space. And I think it's going to look amazing. Now, what I have been thinking is that I could, if I wanted to, use this 4-lane road with bike lanes. So we can have bike lanes kind of going down the middle of this thing. And, well, I said the middle, down the sides of this thing. And that might be really good for accessibility. I do like the idea of encouraging people to use bicycles around here. But then I got thinking that, well, this bridge is going to look a little bit basic. So why don't we use something from the content creator packs? We could, if we wanted to, use something like the American 4-lane truss bridge, which would look something sort of like that. And I think that looks pretty good, although I can't necessarily put it over this road, which is slightly problematic, but that's not necessarily the end of the world. We could use that guy. We could use the European 4-lane stone bridge, which if I turn on Anarchy and do this, actually looks pretty good over the top of that road, all things considered. And I think that's kind of what I'm gonna do, which means that alongside this bridge, I'm gonna have to build a separate bike path thing, because I really want people to be able to cycle across the water and get over to this industrial space. So for now, what I think we're gonna try and do is get this to be as sort of parallel with the edge of the map as we possibly can. That right about there looks pretty good to me. I want to use move it while only grabbing nodes to select all of those. I want to select all of these nodes as well and make sure that they're all level, which they should now be. This has definitely got some height to it, but we should manage. I'm really hoping I can pull this off. I'm really hoping this is going to look at least halfway decent is sort of my goal. I might bring this out to about here just because I can and just because I think it probably should go out just a little bit further. We can grab those 2 nodes as well and get them nice and level, which they are. And now somehow, some way, I need to connect this all together. Now I do, yes, I do have a mod that's going to make this possible. So that's going to be 45 units on the right there. Let's take this away and let's grab this this bridge again. I love the mods. I love I love mods in Cities Skylines 1 so much. Being able to hold left alt to get this to perfectly line up is just the best thing ever. Does that look okay? That looks okay. I mean, yes, we can see that the sort of bricks here end and it just becomes concrete, but you know what? I'm sort of okay with that. I am. I'm sort of okay with that. Although I will say I'm slightly curious to see what this would look like. I don't know. we could go with the truss bridge. That might look kind of interesting. I do like the arches though. Those are kind of fun. So I think for now I'm going to stick with the arches, but that might get changed out at some point. What we can do down here though is go ahead and get ourselves this little cycle path right here. And this guy is going to hopefully line up with everything I'm trying to do. So let's just get as close to this other road as we can. Let's go down to 10 meters because that's about as high as we need to be. And I just need to go like this. And what I need to do is go back like this as well. We'll hit home to drop this down to ground level. And a little bit of anarchy lets me connect it just like this, which is perfect. We can bring this guy straight through. I think the curve begins right about there. So we'll grab that node. We'll level it all to the height of the bridge. And then thanks to mods, as per usual, we should be able to bring this around. What I will need to do is just find the point that it straightens out over here, which looks to be right about there. So we'll just do a straight section of path here as well. We'll grab those nodes. And that right there gives us a cycle path right alongside that bridge. I think that looks absolutely fantastic. I am so pleased with this. I'm so excited to see people biking across here. It's going to be so good is what it's going to be. Now, what we will need to do is start to level things out over here. So let me just grab this guy. Let me go down to ground level right about, I guess there is probably okay. We can bring the path down at some point as well. But I think what I'd like to do is get myself, you know what? I do actually want to bring the bicycle lanes through here. So let's make sure this isn't elevated. We're going to keep it at ground level. We're going to turn off the straight slope option. And I'm just going to bring this through to here for the time being. And I'm going to go a little something like this as well for the time being. And then we can grab you. We can make sure it's elevated, make sure it has the straight slope enabled down to ground level right about there. That's, that could be a little bit better. I think we can sort of tidy that up ever so slightly. Back down to ground level to about there. I think that's a little bit better looking. And honestly, I might want to just tidy up some of this. Although I think I can use one of the mods. Is it this one? So yeah, that actually does wonders. That has sort of curved the intersection a little bit because it's now on a slope instead of being flat. That just looks a little bit better for us, I think. And then we can maybe use move it just to sort of slope these guys a little bit more. So it's kind of more gradual right there. We can use move it to do something similar over on this side. So it's a little bit more gradual right there. And we can probably hit all of this with a nice little smoothing brush just to tidy it up ever so slightly, which I think that does. That looks pretty good to me. And that'll give us a great connection for people to bike over to what is eventually going to be their new workplace. So let's figure out how exactly we're doing the connections over that way. We want to make sure we're at ground level. We're not using smooth slope. And we'll go for a bit of a 135-degree curve right there, which is perfect. We can go straight through to, I'm going to say about here for now, and that'll be pretty perfect as well. And then what I'd like to do is start working on this space first before we start putting anything else in here. Now, I think what I'd like to do is try and include this old factory in here. So we'll go, let's say 30 units that way. Let's say we go 20 units that way. We can kind of go like this as well. So we have a nice little square that we're going to be working with. I think that'll be perfectly fine. We can extend down here by an extra 10 units. We can extend up here by an extra 10 units. And I'm not too concerned about this all being nice and level, although I will say that I do think this part should be nice and level. I'm going to bring it up to, I think, the height of the factory. And I think I'm just going to grab some of these nodes, bring those to the height of the factory as well, which they already are. Same thing over on this side up to the height of the factory. And the reason I'm doing that is because I do like the idea of doing some keys across here. I think getting some keys in here would be really cool. I think getting some buildings in here would be really cool. So that's kind of going to be what I'm going to try and do here. So we will have to smooth this out. I do want to be careful to not use too many terrain tools, and I don't want to mess with the terrain too much. But I do think smoothing this out will be really good for us. So let's tidy this up a little bit. We can definitely get some buildings in here. We can definitely get some keys across here as well, which will look pretty good, I do think. And of course, I should mention that once we unlock trains, I do want to put a cargo train station out here, and I think that'll be pretty good too. So that's sort of the idea for that space. Now let's figure out how I'm going to connect this all together. I think this guy's going to come over a little bit further. These roads can come out a little bit further as well. So a little something like this. And then I sort of, oh boy, I might regret this. I want to try and get like a nice little custom intersection down here. I think that would be great. So this can kind of all go away. And then what we need to try and do, I suppose, is a little something like this. And then I need a road that goes here. So I kind of need to, oh boy, this is going to be such a mess. This is going to be such a mess, but I'm determined to make it work is what I am. I am determined to make this work. So let's go from here. Let's try and get this to line up right about there. And it just needs to sort of go, oh boy, there's so many nodes in there. Oh man. I'm not 100% sure that I can make this happen, but we are definitely going to try. Let's turn off the grids for a second. Let's do this. And I need to get like that little bit right next to it, just right there. I need these roads to be right next to each other, which I just don't think is going to happen. So you know what? We'll just leave some spaces. Let's do this for 2 units. Let's do this for 2 units. They're going slightly the wrong way, which is fine. And then I can sort of curve all this around. I don't know what this is going to look like, but we're going to try and get some cool looking little junctions here is what we're going to try and do. So we'll curve this guy around like so. We can bring this one across like this. And oh boy, these curves are not going to play all too nicely. That needs to come back a little bit. And then I guess we just do something like this, which actually, all things considered, doesn't look as bad as I thought it was going to. This isn't quite what I was going for, if I'm completely honest with you. I was kind of thinking I wanted to try and get this to be a bit more seamless, which I do kind of want this to be a little bit more seamless. This does not have the vibe that I want for this whole thing. So let's just try to bring this down and in here, bring this down and in here. And that's sort of more seamless. Like it's smoother at the very least, which I guess is something. Yeah, I'm not 100% convinced by this, to be completely honest, but you know what? It'll do the job. Let's straighten this out a little bit. Let's bring you way back to there. So what number are we changing here? This needs to be set to, I want to say 40. The yellow greeny one can be set to like 40 as well, which now makes it look a bit more seamless. This one can be set to like 15 to bring that back a little bit. And that seems fine. That looks all right. I think that's probably good enough. We can sort of make sure everything's square, which it is. I do want to go in and remove the crosswalks, and I want to make sure traffic can go straight through. I'm also kind of wondering, can I do bike lanes in a one-way road? Is that a thing? It is. Okay. So that works, I guess. It is a 3-lane one-way road with bicycle lanes, but sure. I guess we'll do something like this. I'm going to have anarchy on to make that connection and that connection. I've no idea. I really have no idea if cyclists will be able to get out here, but sure. We'll see what happens is what we're going to do. As for the rest of this, do I want to do more bike lanes in here? We could do something like this. We are going to be taking away all the parking space. So I think what I'm going to do, just to make things a little bit more awkward, is I'm going to put a median down the middle of these roads, because I just think having vehicles U-turn across the roads and across bike lanes seems a bit reckless. Down this way, maybe sort of the same thing. We'll just have the medians the entire way through here, and that'll be fine. Hopefully this works. Hopefully this turns out okay. Let's just tidy this up a little bit. And why would I want... Okay, first off, you're not... Why would you... I don't need you going that way. I need you going left is what I need you doing. So there's 2 lanes going out here. There's 1 lane that's U-turning. I'm kind of okay with the U-turning, to be completely honest. I don't know if I can do intersection markings here. That's not what I'm wanting. What button? Was it Control L? It is Control L. Yeah, I mean, I could do this. I guess that's okay. We could do like a solid line there, and that's like your U-turn. This could be a solid line down to there as well. Am I going to have to oh man, I'm going to have to manually paint in the lines for this bike lane. I wasn't really planning on doing this, but I'm going to be honest. I think it's going to look really good if I do. Oh boy. This is the type of stuff that Cities Skylines 2 does automatically, right? Like that's kind of the big thing with Cities 2 is a lot of this tedious stuff does get done automatically, and it's kind of great for it. Oh man. Let's do a solid line right there and a solid line right there. And that looks okay. That actually looks all right. We could sort of fill in that entire sort of middle space right there with some kind of markings. We could do stripes, for example. We could do chevrons, which would admittedly need to be slightly rotated to work properly, which doesn't look great. We could just do a pavement island, which I think is fine. Bringing that down to like 0.28 will look all right. I think I'm okay with that. I don't know. It seems like it might be dangerous having like this part be all pavement and whatnot, but I think I'm okay with it. Can I also do, is grass an option? Grass island. Yeah. I don't mind the grass either, although it doesn't really match what else we have going on. Although I could change it out for any of the other grass textures that I have here, which seems possibly a little bit silly. We could go for, man, I'm just going to go through everything now. We could go for gravel. Doesn't look great, to be completely honest. You know, I've got to admit, I wasn't expecting this intersection to look as good as it does, but that looks pretty cool. The colors aren't perfect, like it's very slightly not the same color, but from a distance, I mean, it sort of disappears, but from like out here, that looks pretty good to me. I have no idea if cyclists will use those roads, but I am so pleased with that. I think it looks great. I really do. I think that looks great. Let's go ahead and just tidy up some more of these intersections here to make sure that everything is set up the way it should be. I'm kind of inclined to say that maybe we do another little road sort of down through the middle somewhere. So like here, for example, we could do a little road just to divide things up ever so slightly. We could do a little road that comes out here just so we have more options for more buildings. I think that would be kind of cool. And I want to say that's probably going to be enough for this space for the time being. So let's go ahead and get, I guess we could do geothermal for power. We could wait because we are very close to 5,000 people and get a solar updraft tower. That might not be a terrible idea. Very, very tempted to do that actually, because we are going to have some power problems out here, right? We're most likely, I mean, I've noticed we do have power underneath the roads. That is a thing. So I don't really need to worry too much about power lines. And actually what that tells me is we can probably get rid of all of this, and we can probably get rid of all of this because we don't really need it. We do need the connection out this way because that's where the water's coming in from. But this, I like this. Oh man, I'm so pleased with how this looks. I really, really am. I love this intersection. I'm so impressed with that. I really, man, I forgot how much I enjoy mods in Cities Skylines 1. It's so good. It's just so good. I'm also thinking just before we build anything, I want to put a district out here. So let's start here and go out to this road, and we're just going to come around as neatly as we possibly can down to about there. all the way down to the bottom of this road and all the way up to the top of this road. Same story, just out here and all the way down here as well. We'll just do a little something to get a nice little neat district, which is of course a happy district. Foggy Park is not going to do it. It is going to be Park, Industrial Park, which if you know, you know. And I think the style for this is going to be Industrial Evolution, which is, if I remember right, one of the cool creator style things where I think the district sort of starts, like low level buildings are all like brick, sort of old mills and stuff like that. And then the higher level ones look much more modern and like warehouses. So we'll have a pretty cool looking space out here. Before we do anything with it though, I want to put some services out here. I think we're going to maybe not move, but I think we'll put a recycling center out here just because I think that sort of makes sense, having some recycling out here. I think we'll put it next to this old factory. That seems like kind of a cool spot for it. And then I'd also like to do a little bit of sewage treatment out here. So we have this guy. I don't necessarily know where I want to put it. Could put it down there. Not the worst spot in the world for it, I guess. Unless well, no, I probably don't want to put it close to the water. We could put it in here as well. That would also be a bit of an option that we have available to us. I guess we'll just put it next to the recycling center. I suppose that sort of just works, right? We'll put it right there. And then behind those guys, I think I'm going to get some little parking lots just because we can, just because it's going to fill up that space that otherwise isn't going to be filled up. I think that looks fine. I think that looks okay. I would maybe like to do a little bit of a dirt path down here, but I've got no idea how this train track is going to turn out once we start putting a station in here. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. We do admittedly have forestry fertility or availability out this way. We could do some forestry as an industry if we really wanted to, which I'm not against doing. I'll be honest, a little bit of forestry would generate some money, but I don't necessarily want to put a forest in the middle of this industrial park. So maybe if we need money at some point, we'll do that. I think for now, we'll leave it be. In terms of other industrial buildings, I don't think we need warehouses. I don't know that we need unique factories. We could do a postal service. This is just going to be a little post office, which could be kind of fun to put in the city itself. The post sorting facility we get at 5,000 people, so we'll not worry too much about that. We do have fishing as well. That could be kind of cool to do. Oh man, that could be really cool to do actually. Maybe we buy this tile as well. Maybe that's, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna pick up that tile while I'm here. And I'm gonna pick up this one. And I think I might be able to pick up all of them because I think there's a mod that lets me do that. Never mind. We're gonna just start with those 4 is what we're gonna do. Now, I was thinking of keeping this thing, but I think I'm just going to get rid of it because it's kind of in the way of what I want to do. I think we'll also go in and get ourselves, like I said, some keys along the front of this place. We do have this one, the city key, which looks pretty great. Not very industrial looking though, so I think we'll stick with the simple C wall, which is admittedly a bit more industrial looking. We could go for the city one, but again, I sort of want that industrial vibe, so let's do, I guess, a little something like this, which looks pretty good as far as I'm concerned. And also, don't I have this? This is our surface tool. Yeah. So what I can do with the surface tool, I think, is go in and just tidy this up a little bit. It does mess with the road ever so slightly. That's kind of frustrating. But I could, if I play my cards right, or, well, actually, you know what? Why am I doing this instead of just using move it to bring this closer together? That would make a lot more sense, actually. Although the way we have it right now, I could build a fishing harbor on this, and it looks like it would connect to everything that we have going on. We could do some little fish farms out here as well, which could be kind of exciting. So you know what? Let me take this away, and let me see if I can do a little fishing harbor right there. I like that. I do. I really like the idea of having a little fishing harbor out here. I'm pretty sure there is a way to disconnect this road from the building. I don't remember how to do that in City Skylines, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. but that is a thing we can do if that's something I decide that we need to do. For now, I just want to grab everything here and make sure it's all the same height. So up to that height right there. I would like to grab basically all of the nodes in here and make sure that they are all the same height, which they absolutely are. I'm not too sure what to fill these little gaps with here. I could put some trees in them, but I think for now, I'm very, very happy that we've got a little fishing harbor right here. I think that's very, very cool. We do, I think, need something like the fish market, which takes in fresh fish from harbors and farms and sells it directly to the customers without processing it into goods, or a fish factory, which will take in fresh fish from harbors and farms and turn them into canned fish, which is delivered to shops in commercial zones. So this could be really cool as well. This thing is also kind of huge, which is interesting. Man, I wasn't really planning on getting into like the fishing industry and stuff like that right away, but I'm kind of here for it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of here for it. I'm kind of enjoying it. So sure, let's build a fish factory right about there. Let's go ahead and do some roads right around it as well, so that everything is nicely surrounded with roads, because apparently that's the thing that I'm going to be doing. We'll get it set up like that. We do have some trees in there, so turning off prop and tree anarchy is going to be kind of important, and then using move it to just grab all of this, including the building. We want the nodes and the building, so let's just use the let's just try and use the marquee tool to grab all of those and level them to this height, which looks pretty good. We have a little node in there that we can use to sort of slope all of this. And yeah, I'm really, really pleased with that. Let's get a fishing route set up, because that's kind of what we're missing right now. We have a bunch of shellfish in here. We have some anchovies around the outside. So let's just go for, how do we want to do this? I think we just go 30 and 30. I think we go 30 and 30. We can do something similar down here. So 30 that way and 30 that way. We can go 30 and 30, and they don't really line up, do they? That's interesting. That's really interesting. Okay. Didn't know that they wouldn't line up, but you know what? We can turn on our guidelines, I think. And actually, no, I think maybe they do line up. Maybe I'm just sort of seeing things. There we go. So that gives us a little loop right here, which means that thing should be up and running, and we should see some little boats heading out. There we go. Look at you. Oh, look at you. I'm so pleased with this. It's going to be so good. Having an industry out here is going to be so good. We already have some industrial vehicles coming out here as well, which is great news. So let's start to fill this up with a bunch of industry. That's what this place is for. That's why we built it. That's why we come out here. We want to put a bunch of industry into this space just to deal with that industrial demand that we see creeping in down here. We can fill up all of this space with a bunch of industry as well. We can maybe fill up all of this space as well. And that's probably enough for now. We probably don't want to overdo it, although we do want to make sure that this is included in our district. So we'll bring this sort of down and around here, which is fantastic. I love this. I really do. I love that we have a little fishing industry already. That's so good. I've got no idea if it's going to make us money, but I'm so happy with it. And I'm also really happy to see that we do have people cycling over here, which is great news. That is exactly what we want them to be doing. I'm hoping you're going to get into the bike lane as well, which you are. What are you doing? You absolutely are. Amazing. Oh, that's so good. Now, here's the real question now that I think about it. First off, that's a long way to cycle. There's a lot of like dips and hills and stuff like that there. That's a really long way to go. But I kind of need to know if you're going to go through the intersection properly. Oh, it looks like you absolutely are going through that intersection properly. That's so good. Oh, I'm so happy about this. That's so good. Oh, man. I'm having so much fun with this game. I was so nervous coming back to this. I was so nervous coming back to this. I thought I was going to have a terrible time. Not that it's a bad game, right? The title of that first video on this was like, does it still hold up? I'm going to be honest with you. That's clickbait. Okay? Just 100% honest with you. That's just a title to get people to click on the video. It's just to get you to think, oh, does it still hold? That's all that was. I wasn't doubting that it was going to be a good game. It's still a great game. I just thought that like Cities 2 might have spoiled me. But no, this is like a different vibe. This feels so much more laid back and chill than Cities 2. They're such different games, honestly, and they're both great. I mean, Cities 2 does have its problems, but man, just the simple things in Cities 1 are so satisfying. Now, I would like to take a moment and go through all of my bus lines here, because I have installed another mod that lets me control the vehicles on the line that bit more. So I just want to make sure that we are sort of dealing with the right vehicles. I also want to go and change the shade of blue that all of my buses, at least the main bus lines, happen to be for this slightly stronger one. And then because we're running this mod, I can copy the code for that color and then apply that to whatever other bus line I happen to want to apply it to. So I can apply it to bus line number 2 here so that those happen to match, which is fantastic news. We can go to bus line 3 and make sure that it's doing okay. Is it popular? The buses don't really seem to fill up too much on this line, although, I mean, it's busy enough. 121 residents, 2 tourists. I think that's okay. I think we're doing just fine there. And if we look at our 4th line, which is the industrial one, we can maybe make it slightly more orangey gold. I think that's fine. It has 129. That's all right. Let me go ahead and copy that color though, because I do want to set up a new bus line that is going to go from somewhere in here out to our new industrial space. So let's say right about here, and we are going to go the entire way out to, where do I want to go with this? Now that I think about it, the one-way, or the roads with medians might not have been the best idea, because the buses are now going to be blocking traffic, which is going to be really bad for us. Let's go there. Let's go there. Let's go down here, maybe? Oh, I don't know about this. We'll go to here. That'll be fine, and we'll just bring it back. We might have to change some of those roads a little bit, but for now, we'll make sure that's the same sort of gold color. And here's the problem. I need to go through and make sure that the only buses on this line are the buses that I want on this line. So we're going to remove all of those. We're going to select the vehicle type, which in this case, I just want to use one of the regular buses. This is the default one. This one is kind of cool looking though. It's a little bit different. So I'm going to use that just because it has the same capacity and it looks a bit different, which I think is neat. And then they're going to be, you know, nice and gold looking, which I think is totally fine. Now, looking at this space in here, I am sort of keenly aware of the fact that as we grow this city, traffic is going to get worse through here. What we can do about that is maybe just control-click this intersection so we have some dedicated turning lanes for one. But we can also come up here and possibly just add some more lanes to this one-way system we have going on. So I think some 3-lane one-way roads might be a nice addition to this space, but then we have the problem of buses kind of getting stuck there, which isn't really ideal. I also need to make sure that collisions are off so I don't mess up things right there. And we'll do a little something like this just to get this going around here, and we'll take out those trees. And that should help us ever so slightly. We can control-click those intersections just to hopefully tidy up some of that as well. And just generally, hopefully get us in a good spot with traffic getting around this space. But I will need to do something about these buses, because there is nowhere for them to pull in right here. So what I think I'm going to do is bulldoze this guy, and I think I'm going to put a new road into that space, which I think is going to have some trees down the middle of it. We do need collisions to be on, and I think what we'll do is maybe just say zoning on one side of this road, so up to about there. And then if I go in, I can build something like the compact bus station right about there. And what's great about this little guy is that I can go in and just move both of these bus lines into that little compact station. And that's pretty good. I think that looks great. I do. I like that a lot. Also, a thing in Cities 1 is I can kind of just go and click on that road and swap out the trees. I love that. I do. That should make life a little bit easier for us in that space. It should make it better for the buses to get in there and do their thing. And so hopefully, oh, I do like the color of those buses. They look pretty good. Hopefully that works out. Hopefully we get a ton of people that are taking buses over to that new part of the city. Hopefully it helps traffic in this space, because at some point we are probably going to need to upgrade a lot of this to have more lanes. We might even want to come down here and look at some options. We do have a smaller 4-lane road available to us that could go into this space if I wanted it to. Do we have asymmetrical roads? We do. Do I want to do an asymmetrical road in here? I don't know that I do. I do think we should maybe upgrade some of this, though. I think this guy and this guy can be upgraded. I think we can control-click this, and hopefully that helps traffic sort of move through that space just that little bit easier. And are we looking good across the board elsewhere? It looks like we're doing just fine, which is great. It also looks like most of this place is filling up, which is fantastic news. We are having some power problems, which I'm not thrilled about. But with this place filling up, that should mean that our population hopefully gets to 5,000 relatively quickly, which would mean that I can go ahead and get my hands on the solar updraft tower, which I would like to get because I'm trying to avoid coal. I'm trying to avoid oil. I would like to try and use clean energy here. So if we can get our power our population rather, up to 5,000, that's going to make my life so much easier. And there we go. We have 5,000 people. We are now a big town, which is fantastic news. We have high density stuff unlocked as well. We have blimps, which is certainly a choice. We could do some toll booths as well. We have the incineration plants, the metro stations. Oh man, we have the prison as well. That's certainly something. Probably not going to need most of this, to be totally honest with you. But it is very exciting, and it means that I can come out to this space and I can build my little solar updraft tower, which I want to say, man, where do I want to build this thing? Where do I want to build this thing? I could build it up on this hill. We would have to make some pretty significant changes to the general. What is going on here? Oh, please don't crash. Oh, it didn't. It didn't crash. It was about to. It was having some issues there, but no, we're doing okay. That's surprising. Okay, I really thought it was done. I don't even know if I'm auto-saving right now. Do I like the idea of this thing up in the hill? I sort of do. I think it could be sort of interesting. I'm not too sure how exactly I'm gonna make this work, but I like the idea of trying. I think that could be kind of fun. So we'll do something like this, which I think looks great. We'll grab those nodes and do this so it's nice and level. And then basically this guy is going to sit on that road, which obviously flattens out a bunch of this hill. And again, I'm sort of okay with that. Can I then do this and not have it look terrible? I'm going to use a nice straight slope here. That's very steep. That's maybe not. Maybe no is the answer to my question of whether or not I can do this and not have it look terrible. Let's play around a little bit with the terrain. I'm pretty sure I just got done talking about how I wasn't going to do a ton of terrain editing, and yet here we are. This feels very classic City Skylines. This feels very me, is what this feels like. I'm pretty sure I've done this a million times before. I'm like, oh, we're not going to edit the terrain too much, and then here I go flattening a mountain. Every single time. It's every time I play this game, I just do the same thing. Oh man. I don't know how exactly this is gonna work, but I'm gonna make it work is what I'm gonna do. I think that looks okay. I sort of want to bring this down around here, I think. I think we could probably get away with that. I'm not too sure how I'm gonna connect this side of things. Maybe I don't need to connect this side of things. Maybe there's just sort of one little road that connects this all together, and we just deal with the fact that it's like, it's one little road that comes up here. That might make life just that bit easier. So if I select all of this and level it to this height, that looks fine. We can hopefully then do something like this and this, which is fine. And if I grab all of these nodes, I'm sort of hoping I can then use this tool, the slope objects tool, to kind of, yeah, bring up that corner a little bit. And then I can go in and take out all of this. We can hit that with a nice curve tool and hopefully make it look a little bit better, which I think that does. That definitely looks a bit more gradual, which is what I want it to do. And I think I'm okay with that. I am sort of okay with that. I would like to swap out this for trees, not because I think it needs them, but because I think it look kind of cool. And I'm going to swap this out to not have a median up there because I don't think it needs it. And yeah, I think that looks fine. We can hit that with a nice sort of smoothing brush just to sort of bring it all together a little bit. We can kind of deal with the fact that this is on like a little plateau, I guess. So we'll bring this land out a little bit further here and then hit it with a slightly more gentle smoothing brush so we don't kind of see just the square outline of this thing. This side of things we can bring back a little bit, just like so, and then hit that with a smoothing. That's not right at all. Let's let's smooth that out a little bit. That's the wrong button, is what that is. I've been waiting for that to happen. That was a guarantee. There we go. I think that looks okay. I think I can sort of work with that. I'm slightly tempted to put some keys around the front of this as well, just to, I mean, look, you can kind of see the outline of the platform that this is on, so I kind of wonder if I should just do some keys and be like, yeah, it's just a platform that was built for this thing. That seems like it would make sense. We could go for like the old original classic City Skylines key as well, which honestly I think is exactly what we're gonna do. So let's start here, bring this out to here, bring this over to here, and bring this back to here. And then hopefully I can just grab absolutely everything in that space, level it to this height. And does that look okay? I think that looks okay. I think hitting that with a smoothing brush now is going to look even better though, because it's going to sort of expose that key just a little bit. And it looks fine. It might need some trees around it to hide some crimes. It might need a bit of terrain paint. We might need to bring this in closer to the road so that we don't have like this weird dirt going on here, but I think that looks all right. I'm actually kind of okay with that. And you know, I've just realized I can probably just do something like that to hide the nasty textures going on underneath all of this. So just a few little bushes in here will go hopefully a pretty long way towards making this look halfway decent. It is a little tricky to get it to line up exactly the way I want it to. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with this or why it's doing what it's doing, but hopefully with a little bit of persuasion here, we can get this. There's what I'm looking for. Right about there is pretty good. We'll bring this down to about that spot. We'll do the same thing over on this side as well, which again is looking to be a little tricky. Not really sure why it's doing this. Oh, that was about where I wanted it to be. Just over to the right ever so slightly. It's not going where I want it to. There's what I'm looking for. Okay, so this comes over to about this spot. And then I just need to fill in those corners, which I'm kind of inclined to think I can just do manually, right? So just kind of click. Oh man, this brings me back. This brings me back to placing a bunch of trees in this game by hand. Having, you know, played a lot of Town to City recently, oh man, hold on a minute. Is this not going to let me do this? I don't think it's going to let me do what I want. I'm going to have to use the line tool for this. Oh boy. Right. This is not going to be perfect, but you know what? That's fine. I don't know why it's trying to snap like that. That's kind of odd. It's not helpful, but sure. I will somehow, some way make this work. Let's go to about there and let's rotate and go. Oh my God. Let's go to about, no, almost. Almost. Have we got it? No, we don't. It's, man, this competitive City Skylines is what this feels like. Okay, you know what? That's good enough. That's fine. It hides our crimes. It does what I needed it to do. There is a forestry brush that I can use here if I really want to. I still have the Nerd Home brush in here. Really? Wow. That's impressive. Okay. That's slightly surprising, actually. I have a pine forest too. I've got bushes I can play with. Amazing. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that still had that that brush in here. That's kind of incredible. Let's I don't want to delete the brush. That seems a bit mean. Man, how do I there's so many trees. There are so many trees in here. How do I figure out what I've got selected? So we have this, which I don't necessarily want. I forgot it had Magicka trees in here as well. I need Paradox to make another Magicka game. I'm not gonna lie. I want these guys is what I want. I want those trees with leaves. I don't need young lindens right now. I just need these trees is what I'm kind of looking for, because I kind of want to just do like this. I want to put like a forest around this is what I want to do. Slightly less strength, slightly higher size, and just you know, hide some crimes here is what I'd like to do. Just a nice little dense forest. I probably need to see about removing the decal underneath the trees, but for now I think this is fine. I think that kind of fills in that space pretty well, and I like that. That's good. That should give us a ton of power for absolutely everything, and it should mean that I can now get rid of these wind turbines out here, which is pretty good news. We don't seem to have any complaints about water either, which is great. We don't have any complaints about power, which is great. So I suppose, given that we have demand for things, let's look into swapping out some of these buildings for some higher density ones. Now, if we look into our district options, we could do some commercial wall-to-wall buildings. Not entirely sure that I want to do that necessarily, but we could. We could go to this district and say that maybe it gets the Brooklyn and Queens treatment, so we get a bunch of sort of cool-looking tower things. I don't know what emerging downtown is. I think mid-century modern city center, I have an idea of what it's going to give us. I guess let's switch for emerging downtown and see. So that is getting rid of some of my commercial buildings already, and it is rebuilding them, which is fine. But what I would like to do, I think, is go through and clear out all of this commercial down the middle here and across this way. And I would like to replace all of that with some higher density stuff, because I think that's going to be a pretty good idea. I'm curious to see what we end up with this particular theme. I don't know how big the buildings are going to be. That's actually pretty reasonable, and it's not a bad looking building. It's a little intimidating perhaps, but it's not a bad looking building. This guy is pretty cool looking, which I really appreciate. Oh, look at you guys. That's kind of cool. Oh man. Oh, look at this one as well. These are some really cool buildings. The low density ones anyway, they're really, really cool looking. I do like, is that an ad for City Skylines? It is an ad for City Skylines too. Okay. that's kind of cool as well. I do like this this theme. I like that they're wall to wall as well. For the most part, there's some little gaps here and there, but that's very, very cool. Oh wow, we're starting to get some proper high rises in here as well. That's a little bit unexpected. I mean, it's an emerging downtown, right? So I guess it makes sense that we're going to start getting some high rises in here. That is the highest level of that building as well. So that's honestly, yeah, I'm going to sort of stick with that is what I think I'm going to do. It's kind of cool looking. I would like to see what we can do for some residential buildings back here. I think it would probably make sense to swap out some of these guys for some higher density as well. So we'll go for a little bit of high density residential back there, high density residential back here. These guys were not supposed to be commercial. Those need to be replaced with residential as well. So that can all kind of go away. This can all sort of go away. This gets swapped out like this, which I think is fine. And yeah, that seems all right. I think we can work with that. I'm not too sure what those buildings are going to look like. I think it'll probably be, I think it's the European theme by default. So whatever this is, it's a really nice looking little building. I love that. Oh, hold on. These guys might, oh, those are so cool looking too. I think we might actually have the emerging downtown pack impacting our residential buildings as well, which is great. If it all sort of blends together, that's going to be really cool. We're getting a bit of a skyline with this one building here, so I wasn't expecting to do this right now, but sure, this looks cool. I like this a lot. I would like to come up to this space though, and I want to make some changes. I want to just get rid of some of the zoning on some of the roads that we have up here. These curves, for example, the zoning can go away there. We can do a bit of low density commercial in these spaces, just because I think we'll kind of want to do that. We can do a bit of commercial here and here as well. And then for these roads out this way, I'm sort of thinking the same thing. We'll just fill in those spaces with a bit more commercial zoning so that we can start to fill out those roads just a little bit more. I'm also kind of thinking we might want to start bringing some roads down this way and starting to kind of bring these spaces together a little bit. I'm not too sure what that's necessarily going to look like, but what I think I'm going to try is maybe basing these new roads off of this angle here. So being at a bit of a 45-degree angle to what we've built over that way might be kind of interesting. I'm not really sure if we want/need to do this, but I think I'm going to try is what I'm going to do. I want to try and avoid having everything on just the exact same grid here. So we'll bring this kind of out. We'll connect to about there, should be fine. We'll take out this guy. We can bring this out to about there and get rid of you, and that'll be all right. We can then use, I guess, this road for our kind of remaining little thing here, little grid, because this all lines up really nicely now, which is what we want it to do. This can come straight up. This can go straight over, and that does mess with that grid just a little bit, but that's fine. We can do maybe this down here as well. I don't think this is going to line up all that perfectly, but you know what? That's totally fine. Can I tidy this up in a way that's not going to look terrible? That looks pretty good. And then can I just bring these roads together? Okay. So this space doesn't line up perfectly, but honestly, that's fine. I can sort of deal with that. We do have some trees in some of those roads. Again, I can sort of deal with that. I think this road should come down and connect here just because it can. I think this can sort of come over and connect there just because it can. And that's starting to bring these spaces together. Like I said, I do kind of want to keep this feeling like a bit more of a suburb. So I'm not really too sure what all of this space is going to be just yet, but we do have demand for residential zoning. We do have demand for commercial and industrial. So, I mean, with all of this building, this looks really cool. I really like these buildings in here. Like, look at this. This is a really cool little lot right here. Then we have this bright, like it was pink, but it's now that. We have some really cool little buildings in here. It's really, really cool. I'm loving the high rises too. Like those look great. Okay, so I made some slight changes to these roads. I think having some nice curvy corners just looks a little bit better than the sharp edges that we had before. I've added another little sort of street here that we can have for this neighborhood, which is great. I've extended the district to cover that as well, just because I think we should. And I've added a little bit of commercial zoning down here, again, just because I think we should. Now, I am thinking that I was waiting on this. I was waiting on us having some traffic problems here. Now, I'm not entirely sure that adding more lanes to this road is necessarily going to be the solution, but I'm going to try, is what I'm going to try and do. We're going to go for a bit of asymmetry on this, just to sort of see what happens. So we'll go something like that. We want 3 lanes going to the roundabout, and then 3 lanes sort of switching over and coming down this way. We can hit that with a little bit of automatic lane management, which I think is perfect. We can do sort of the same thing here. In fact, we can, I think, shift click is one of these. I think one of these tools lets me sort of set up a roundabout. Yeah, there we go. Shift click to bulk edit priority signs in a roundabout. Shift control click to set up the entire thing. We'll do that. And now, are we good? It's sort of working, kind of. No, they're all just piling into one lane now. It hasn't really done It hasn't really done much, is what it's done there. I mean, it's kind of natural that we are going to see an increase to traffic coming through here. After all, oh, we're having water problems too. We have added some higher density buildings in here, so I think that kind of makes sense that we would be having some problems. Let's go ahead and add another water pump down here because we definitely happen to need one. So right about there, we'll put this guy, I guess, right about there, and that should be fine. That should keep everybody happy. I mean, I'm going to assume a lot of this traffic is people moving into the city, right? That's kind of my thought process here. I do wonder if it would be an idea to put some extra lanes on the roundabout. That is a thing that we could do. We could do 4 lanes coming around here with no zoning on those roads though, because that's going to be disastrous if we don't sort that out. And then if I was to shift control click, we still only have 1 lane for getting off the roundabout, which isn't really ideal, but I'm just curious to see if that does just anything for us. It's not really doing anything for us, is what it's doing. I think we were fine with the 3 lanes, to be completely honest. There is some traffic using the inside lane here and there, but I'm gonna stick to my guns and just assume that what's going on here is we just have a lot of people moving into the city for the first time. So you will go back down to the 3. I think we were fine. We were fine with the 3 lanes. Although I've got to be honest, traffic here is kind of struggling a little bit. Traffic in here is kind of struggling a little bit as well. So I am slightly concerned. It's definitely not a good thing. My buses are getting stuck in traffic as well. There's just a lot of it coming through here. So I think what we're going to do is swap out this road for another asymmetrical one. We're going to have 3 lanes going onto the roundabout there because I'm hoping for good things with that. I'm hoping traffic kind of figures out what to do right there. So let's just see if they do what I'm hoping they do, which is use that leftmost lane for getting into this part of the city, which it looks like they're doing. Anyone that wants to go out of the city can hopefully use that middle lane, which would be the idea. It just seems like most of them are coming down here and wanting to go into the main part of the city, which I guess that's fine. I guess that's okay. I guess they'll figure it out. It's sort of clearing a little bit here. It's just really, it's not clearing at all, is it? it's getting pretty bad. Oh man, we might have to look into public transport a little bit more then. Let's have a look here and see what's going on with my buses. So we do have, admittedly, not that many people using these buses. That's not good. That's really not good. that's a problem. Why is no one using my buses? Oh man, they all just want to drive apparently. That's slightly problematic. Okay, not a huge fan of that, but sure, I guess that's that checks out. I suppose it also checks out that traffic through here is going to be kind of busy because these roads over here are now going to be some of the shorter ways to get to this part of town rather than taking this main avenue down here. So I would assume once this main avenue sort of clears out, we might see some of this traffic move. I also have to imagine the lack of traffic lights in here is having a bit of an impact because these guys on the sides have to wait, so they have to give way to traffic on the main avenue. So let's try some traffic lights in there and see what that does. I'm expecting it to do some very bad things. I'm gonna do some traffic lights down here as well though. And I think since this is a 4-way intersection, some traffic lights right there would make sense. This is coming into the neighborhood, so I'm less concerned about traffic lights right there. But I'm just kind of curious to see what that does for us. I am expecting, like I said, traffic to back up into the roundabout, but if we can see all of this start to clear out, I'm kind of willing to deal with that and come up with some other solutions at some point in the hopefully not too distant future. What I would like to do is deal with some of the residential demand that we have right now though, because my goal today is to get some cargo trains. That is what I would like to do. So we'll get some residential zoning along there, which is going to be good for us. We could, I guess, expand this district down just a little bit and maybe take it off of off of all of this because I don't think we need the central district coming down that far. And then maybe this space in here could be a little something something as well. Do we have pedestrian roads? We don't. We need a small, we need a pedestrian area, don't we? Okay. Well, that's fair enough. I don't remember where to get pedestrian area service roads, to be completely honest with you, or whatever they're called. How do it's been a minute, man. It's been a while. So hold on a minute. What is this again? So construct small pedestrian area service point. Right. So do I have to build, I guess I can paint a pedestrian area first. I want to try this. I'm kind of wanting to put a little pedestrian area into that square just because we can and just because I think it could be kind of interesting. In fact, I'm going to do the same out to here as well. We're going to try and play around with a pedestrianized couple of spaces right there. Going down here now, I do have my small pedestrian area service point, which is great. It's going to live, I don't know where it's going to live, to be completely honest with you. I could sort of put it down here. Actually, this might not be the worst spot in the world for it, or even just here, because I think that's part of the district. I mean, if I turn off anarchy, it kind of lets me put it anywhere. I guess I'll just put it here for now, is what I'm going to do. We'll sort of tuck it right about there, and that should be fine. These houses all sort of need to go away, and I'm going to just clear out all of that zoning as well, because what I want to try and do is go in here with just a little something is what I want to go in here with. Auto paint pedestrian areas. What is, oh, does that like, okay. I think that means that it paints a pedestrian area around the roads. That's quite cool. Didn't know that was a thing. Don't know if that's a mod. I've got no idea. It probably is, but it's neat regardless. Let's use the, what do I want to use for this? So we have the cobblestone, we have the small blue stone, and we have the sandstone. I think the sandstone is going to be a nice contrast. So we'll do sandstone up to there. We can do, does this kind of fit in the middle? It doesn't. Interesting. Do I want to shift this road down a little bit? I kind of might, although I'm realizing that the reason it, you know what, it doesn't matter. We'll have a little bit of overlap here. That's not the end of the world. Bring this through to here. Let's figure out a way to fill up all of this space as well. I guess maybe we do want to shift this a little bit. Or I just do that, I suppose. Yeah, we'll just do it that way. We'll just sort of move the entire thing up a little bit. So we'll do this. Do I want to go straight through? I don't know if it's going to let me go straight through. I mean, I'm going to need anarchy for it to go straight through. I think we'll go straight through. I think that's fine. We'll have that cut straight through. We can build some houses or commercial buildings or something like that in that space. We can use node controller to tidy this up a little bit, which doesn't look too bad. I think that's all right. I think that works. Although looking at this, I actually do feel like this should be at a bit of an angle to sort of line up with the, well, just everything else that's going on there. So kind of like that, I think makes more sense. So it kind of follows the angle of the road itself. I think that's fine. This little space here, I think looks fine as well. And then this little building, I need you to not be doing what you're doing right now, which is just kind of looking so out of place with like that yard behind it there. How do I want to fix that though? How do I want to move that building so it doesn't just kind of look awkward in this space? I think we just maybe turn it around. So if I put it right here, I can hopefully put a bunch of buildings around it to hide the fact that it has like a little cargo yard behind it. So let's go in. I'm going to do a little cluster of commercial buildings here. Maybe just something like this to try and hide this guy and hope that that sort of works. And then the rest of this, I'm sort of thinking I do want it to be residential. So let's just do a bunch of residential space like this. Let's do a bunch of residential in here, and let me just get rid of some of the zoning on these little curved roads over to the side here, so that hopefully that is not what I wanted to do. That is absolutely not what I wanted to do. This, and this. That looks a little bit better. We'll fill up this space and this space, and then we can take out some of those little extra parts, so like this can go away. Maybe this could all go away and that could be a park of some sort. I do like that as an idea. I haven't done too much with parks just yet, so let's see what plaza options we have. We have this one, which is just a plaza with trees. It could live right there. It does sort of overlap on the road, which I don't necessarily love, so let's try something else. We have a bunch of options available to us. This one's way too big. This one is also going to be a little bit too big. But a little sidewalk cafe is not too bad. I kind of like that. I like that it sort of connects out here with a path as well, which I'm hoping I can sort of adjust so it doesn't kind of look as awkward as it does. Does that look better? That does. I like that a lot. I do. I think that looks pretty great. Let's just tidy up this curve ever so slightly so it's a bit more like this, which looks fine to me. I don't necessarily love the palm trees around that, but I think we'll deal with it. We have a bunch of commercial buildings popping up down here as well to hide this little service area or pedestrian area service point, which is great news. And I like this. I do. I think that looks pretty cool. I think that looks pretty cool. Let's try. So we have prop it up, which is this mod right here. I want to wait, there's different variations of this. Ooh. Oh, that's very cool. So we have this little one. We have this slightly bigger one. We have this one as well. I like the brick one. I like the brick one a lot. And you know, it might be a little bit out of place down here, but I think I'm going to use the farm fence to sort of outline this little space. I think that could be kind of cool for down here. So let me just make sure that we're not snapping to anything, because that's kind of what I want to avoid. We can do something like this to begin with. We'll do something like this as well. We can curve this all around in just a little bit using good old move it. And we can go to about there for now, should be fine as well. We can go and grab some nodes, which is how we're going to make this all look like it's part of the same little facility. So right down to about there. And then we want to grab you and go right to about, say, there. This needs to go right to that corner, which it is, and we want to grab that segment so we can curve this out to the road, which we've managed to do pretty well there. This guy is going to come out to about this spot as well, which is going to need a decent little bit of curvature to it, I think. Possibly. We might be able to get away with not doing too much curvature here, actually, which is pretty good for me. And this just needs to go straight over to about there. I suppose that's fine. I suppose this needs to come down to about here, and it looks like we will need to do a tiny little bit of curvature down here at the bottom of this fence. So right about, I want to say there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I like that a lot. I think it looks totally fine. We can go ahead and put some nice big trees in here. I'm not too concerned with having it match with like the palm trees and stuff. I just want some big trees in those corners. I want to do some of these young linden trees just across this this fence right here. It's ooh, oh, hold on a minute. We're a small city. This gives us trains and monorails, but mostly trains and the high-rise band. That could be very useful. The cable cars could be very useful for getting across the water as well. Oh man. Okay. I think we need some trains is what I think we need. I think we need some trains. I also think I want to swap out the trees on these roads down here just so that they kind of match everything else that I'm doing. This district looks pretty cool, actually. It kind of does. It looks kind of neat, and it's bumping the population really nicely. Traffic through here seems to be doing okay. Traffic through here is doing okay as well. The traffic lights, I think, have done the Lord's work, to be totally honest with you. So that's great news. Oh man, I am so excited to put some trains over here. I don't remember what the cargo train stations look like. They look like this, apparently. Okay, that's fine. We do have the elevated train stations as well. Oh, this is perfect. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy right now. Okay, this needs to go away. Is what this needs to do. This needs to go back to about there. Should be fine for now. How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? I want this to sit right about there, I think is what I want to do. So we want to take out a few little buildings here. Take out all of these guys is what we're going to do. And then we're going to go in with, I think a one-way road kind of makes sense here, to be totally honest with you. So just a little one-way road. We want to snap to the grid, and we want to do just something like this should be fine for now. We also kind of need zoning to be enabled on this road so that I can place stuff on it. But then this guy is going to live right there, and that looks pretty great. I like that a lot. We can do our little entrance to this station right there. We can do our exit right there. We can take this away. And then in front of this whole thing, I mean, first off, I don't love these little corners here, but that's not the end of the world. In front of this, I'm sort of wondering if I can maybe get away with some parking. We totally can. I don't think it necessarily makes sense, but we can get away with it. That's fine. In here, I'm not really too sure what to what to do with that space. It would be great to build a subway out here at some point. That would be the perfect spot for a subway entrance. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm not convinced that I want to put a subway out here. But I might need to come up with something else to live in that space eventually. But for now, this is fine. This is what I've wanted. This is making me very, very happy. Let's do a good old section of train line that comes out, I don't know, we'll say 20 units for now, I guess, is fine. This is going to come across about 20 units, and then hopefully we can just do a nice big old curve that goes something like that. And that gives us a cargo train station that we didn't have previously. That makes me really, really excited. It does. That makes me really excited. I don't know if it's going to be good for traffic. I don't know how traffic's going to deal with it, but that makes me excited. I love that. I do. I absolutely love that. I also want to, I want to bring these tracks down here. That's kind of why I wanted to set this thing back a little bit, because I love the idea that these tracks can kind of continue down here. I do think I'm going to just turn off straight slope to do this though, so that it doesn't kind of carve into the terrain too much. So down to about there, I would like to try and double that up a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just a little something like that. And then if I was to turn off, oh man, how would I do this? I want to bring this out and over like this. Again, just because I can. I like the idea that, you know, maybe this whole little space, whatever we're doing, this whole little set of train tracks has maybe been here about as long as that factory. I love that as an idea, so that's kind of what I'm going for. We can hopefully raise all of this up to the same height as the station there, which I think we've done. We do have everything dropping down a little bit though, which I don't necessarily love. So if I was to raise this all up to the height there, does that look okay? I think it does. If I grab these buildings and these nodes as well and raise those to the same height, I think that's fine. Grab these nodes and raise those to sort of the same height. Maybe do the same thing in here just so that everything is kind of at the same height around here. There's a cargo train coming in as well. Oh my God. I love this. I love this. Oh, I'm so happy with this. I'm so happy. This intersection does need to be tidied up a little bit though. Let's bring you back ever so slightly to about that spot should be fine, and bring you back. We'll just go like 40 on that one. We'll go like 40 on that one. And that seems fine. I guess that's okay. It's not the nicest looking little space we have, but it works. Oh, I love that. I love that so much. I'm so happy with that. Now, I will say I 100% expect this to be a traffic nightmare for the rest of Nerdchester. It's absolutely going to be chaos. Look at how many vehicles we have coming down here. There are so many of them, and there are quite a few that are going to be trying to get out to that cargo train station. So this is going to be a little bit of a problem. It's also, oh my God, look at these guys. You remember that part where I said that I might want to like feather things down towards the suburbs? This is excessive is what this is. There's a lot going on with these. How did this happen? Wait a minute. I know how that happened. that space is not part of Nerdchester Central. That checks out, actually. Okay, so Nerdchester Central is an emerging downtown, which is fine. I think we're going to turn this into its own little district. It is already a pedestrian area, but I'm going to swap this out to be something else because I don't think I want it to be an emerging downtown. I think I'm going to do wall-to-wall buildings in here. So it's going to be a very modern looking space, which I'm fine with. Although I do love this. Oh, I do love that. I actually love, these buildings are so cool looking. They're really cool looking, actually. It's very, very cool looking. So my thinking here was I was going to go for wall-to-wall buildings. We can apply that as a specialization to the district, is what we can do. I don't know about that anymore, though. Yeah, but you know what? We'll do it. It's fine. It's fine. Let's just get this done. I'm hoping that means that a bunch of these buildings are going to get demolished. Not 100% sure if that's going to be the case. We don't have any residential demand right now, which is slightly problematic. Let's bulldoze these guys and see if anything rebuilds in there. It is, which is great. That's gonna, I guess, have an impact on our commercial demand, which is fine. We should also do something with education at some point in the not too distant future, because we can start putting offices in here if we do that. And also, just as a note, I don't know that I love these buildings. Just looking at it, no. We're gonna change this out, is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go for the normal, just lack of specializations. And then I think Lake District is just gonna be an emerging downtown, is what it's gonna be. So that's fine. It's gonna swap out a bunch of the buildings. I'm okay with that. They're gonna be much smaller, which I'm also okay with. We might have fewer households in them, but I think it's just gonna look better. And I'm okay with that. I think we've dropped about nearly 1,000 people here doing this, but I think it's gonna look better for it. I'm also thinking I kind of want to try upgrading this road to have 6 lanes on it. I think that's gonna be kind of useful just a little bit. It gives traffic some more options, which is hopefully gonna be great for traffic. We can hopefully set up these intersections to work just a little bit better. We can hopefully set this all up to work a little bit better. If traffic just stays in that leftmost lane, then it's not exactly ideal, but looking at the way the arrows are set up down here, we have 1 lane for going straight on, 1 for going to the right, 1 for, the left. My buses don't really care about the rules of the road, but my hope here would be that traffic kind of figures out what it needs to do a little bit sooner than later, and I can kind of help them do that. Because if I was to go and say, hey, this lane here is the only one for getting off of that roundabout, which seems silly, but that's kind of what we're doing. I can go to this junction here and say, now you stay in lane, right? You don't change lane. And the same thing here, and then up this way, I'm not going to do that. But what that should now do is say, basically, any traffic that wants to take a left-hand turn is going to have to get into the leftmost lane right away. Any traffic that wants to go to the right gets into the rightmost lane right away. And that should help filter it through just a little bit. Now, keep in mind, my buses don't necessarily follow those same rules. That's honestly okay. It's not the end of the world if the buses aren't doing that. I'm not super concerned about it. I'm just hoping it helps with this roundabout. I'm also thinking I'm going to just upgrade this road as well to just have the extra lanes. I think that's probably the right thing to do. And then we can go and we can control click up here. Not that we need to, but we can. We can control click right here to make sure this is all behaving. And we could arguably do something similar. We could say that coming off of this space, you've got 2 lanes for going straight on. So this one is the only lane for getting off of this little one-way system. And then as you come down here, you stay in lane, because you can pick your lane at the start, and hopefully that just helps traffic again sort of filter through and do what it needs to do. And by the looks of it, that is sort of working, which is fantastic news. We have these beautiful little spaces for the buses to tuck into, which is absolutely perfect. Whether or not that works long-term doesn't really matter. It's sort of working right now. There is just a lot of traffic that wants to go straight through because I would imagine a lot of that is industrial traffic trying to get out to this space. I'm okay with that. I knew this was going to happen. This was all part of the plan. My goal at some point here is going to be to get this tile and connect to the highway, and that's going to give us another highway entrance for the city. The only problem with doing that is that what's most likely going to happen is that we are almost certainly going to create a shortcut. So right now, the game is going to be generating traffic that comes in from the region and goes the entire way out here, hits this intersection, goes all the way up here, and just sort of heads back out of the map out to the region. If I connect my city here to the highway, I run the risk of creating a shortcut, especially if my roads are relatively high speed. So, yeah, that might not be the best idea in the world, but I'm probably going to do it anyway, because it will take some of this industrial traffic, it will send it out to the region quicker, and that's hopefully going to, basically the trade-off here is that we will have traffic using my city, using my city as a shortcut to, you can see where the start of shortcut got put on the start of city, and you can see how that could how that can come about. Anyway, the idea is that the exchange here is that my industrial traffic can leave my city a little bit quicker in exchange for the regional traffic going through the city. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if it's going to be ideal, but I'm curious to see what happens, basically. Also, this seems to be clearing out, which is great news. This is... Oh, that's a delivery being made to a commercial building. That's fine. That's all right. That's what was holding traffic back here. As long as traffic's not being held back too much here, I don't mind too much. We're doing fine. We're doing good. Okay, so I think that is gonna do us for today. I'm gonna try to avoid having these cities videos all be, you know, an hour and a half long or longer. I'm not too sure how long this one's gonna turn out to be, but I'm gonna guess, having not edited the thing just yet, I'm gonna say 1 hour and 27 minutes. I might be wrong. It might be more than that. I don't really know, but I'm gonna say 1 hour 27. I'm not aiming for that. We've had this conversation about long form content on the channel before. I don't really do short form anymore. It's not my thing. I'm incapable of doing it. I rant and I ramble far too much, and I get sidetracked and distracted far too much. I'm still not convinced that hour-and-a-half long videos are ideal, but it did pretty well for the first episode of City Skylines 1 in 2025. So we'll see how this goes, we'll see how this goes. Either way, with all of that said and done and everything out of the way, that is going to be doing us for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. This has been an absolute pleasure, as always. I'm not 100% sure if this is going to be the last video of the year, by the way. It might be. I haven't really decided if I'm going to be posting between Christmas Day and New Year's. I might take a week off, so if there's no more videos for about a week, that's why. But if there are no videos, then I'll be back on January 1st, and the plan there is to come back with City Skylines 2, so that'll be a new city plus Columbia County, so there'll be 2 series of City Skylines 2 running at the same time. If you guys want to see more of this, then this will also be a thing running at the same time, and then there will also be the final few episodes of Town to City. I reckon we've probably got about 4, maybe 5 more episodes of that before it's sort of gonna be done. So if this is the last video of the year, which I'm not promising it will be, I might be getting ahead of myself here. I do know that this video is either going out on the 24th or 25th. So given that it's the holidays, if you celebrate, then I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. If not, happy holidays, whatever you're doing, whatever you got going on. I hope you have a good time. I hope 2025 has been good to you, and I hope 2026 is going to be even better. It's not been a perfect year, but it is a year that we can all learn from, and there's, you know, many more years ahead. So I didn't prepare anything. I'm ranting and rambling. You know that thing I said that I do? I'm doing that again, is what I'm doing. I'm ranting and rambling. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, everybody. This has been an absolute pleasure, as always. And as always, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.